Vince McMahon's new WWE contract contains a non-harassment policy. We'll get into that. Plus, major concerns today for an injured Raw star, and an ex-WWE star is in constant talks for a return to WWE. It's all in the wrestling news right now. Before we got here today, I watched John Oliver talking about Vince McMahon.
The multiple ways he took the piss out of his head.
How he looks like an AI-generated image of a snake tycoon. It was fabulous. Vince McMahon very much been a talking point over the past couple of weeks. Now that the merger deal seems to be going through, we've had a little sneaky look at Vince McMahon's newest WWE contract. Now he's back in the fold. He signed it just before the merger, and it contains some details about WWE's conflict of interest and code of conduct. In order for McMahon to remain employed, he must comply with both this code of conduct and the WWE Equal Opportunity and Non-Harassment policy. Now, it's important to point out that this is a standard for a contract.
Yeah, it's just the fact that Vince McMahon's obviously been at the tippy top of his company for forever basically, and now he's got someone else who's above him, and obviously this has been put in place for him to answer to somebody else.
So now, for the first time, as it has been, in forever, there is somebody that Vince McMahon answers to. So should we see any repeats of previous allegations, or whether other things come to light with this policy in place? They think it could potentially spell trouble for Vince McMahon.
And as it should. Why has that not been a thing the entire time, even when he was the tippy-toppy boss?
There is that.
Yeah.
There certainly is that. Now, Vince McMahon, you may remember, very briefly commented on the allegations that led to his very short retirement last year. And he said, "Let me just say I've made mistakes, obviously, in both personally and professionally through my 50-year career. I've owned up to every single one of them and then moved on."
That's what I would say if I left the toast in the toaster a bit too long and burned it.
Yeah.
That's not the sort of reaction you have after the stuff he's allegedly done.
Absolutely not.
No.
I'm intrigued to see how this goes, because it seems like the umbrella company is excited to have Vince McMahon as part of the vision. There's an element that you get, because obviously these are people that Vince has known for a long time, but surely they won't stand for any more steps out of line in this way.
Yeah.
There's no way.
It was clear from that interview that Vince has been put in this position because obviously in their eyes who don't follow professional wrestling like we do, that Vince McMahon is the guy who knows the most about professional wrestling. It depends in their eyes how much Vince's knowledge of wrestling is put up against everything else that comes with Vince, if that makes any sense to you, Tom.
It does indeed. We'll dip back into WWE stuff in just a second. Let's talk AEW. A couple of a signing and a re-signing to talk about.
Yeah, Tony Schiavone has confirmed that the company's signed 18-year-old Billy Starks, who of course took on Jade Cargill and did very, very well on, was it Battle of the Belts or Rampage? I can't quite remember.
Battle of the Belts,
What a match it was. She reversed the Jaded a couple of times. It was the most Jeopardy we've maybe seen Jaded ever since she debuted.
I think it was great. I'm so excited for Billy Starks. If you want to find out more about her, back in 2021, she was a guest on Desert Island Graps.
She was 9 years old, Tom.
she was at a young age at that point, and we talk all about like her early days for her career, her dad being an amazing influence to her. And we wouldn't. And do you know what? I listened to the whole thing again, and at no point does she talk about she asked what her ambitions were, and I think it was sort of coming out of lockdown. She just want to travel again and see friends again. I want to wrestle around the world. No mention of AEW or even the MLW stuff that she's done, because it all just seemed, I think, very much a pipe dream at that point. But here we are, well deserved. She's brilliant.
She seems like a level-headed lass as well, because I think they mentioned on commentary that she's still going to school while doing the wrestling as well.
Yes.
On national broadcast TV one night, back in school the next day or whatever.
She's a great investment for AEW. I think that's a great get. Her and Nick Wayne, you've got two stars there that you've got decades and decades with.
Yeah.
Great shout. We've got a re-signing as well, haven't we? I'm surprised this one eventually happened.
Yeah, because it felt like for the longest time we were sat here on this very lovely marble table. Is it marble? I don't know. Oh, it's polystyrene.
It's marble-esque.
Speaking about Brian Cage leaving AEW because he was unhappy with his position, himself and his wife noted on social media many times they were unhappy with his position in AEW. But no, he signed a new long-term deal, hasn't he, Tom?
He has indeed. So he's officially put a pen to paper, according to Five Will Select, on a long-term multi-year deal to stay with AEW and be part of ROH. Tony Khan says he wants to keep the embassy as part of Ring of Honor for a long time to come. And this all comes around as his contract was coming to an end, as the sun was setting on his existing deal, WWE had already shown a bit of interest. There were people who were keen to get Bryan over to get in front of the right people in WWE. And do you know what? I think maybe had the stars aligned in a different way, that might have happened.
Yeah.
I think he's certainly if it was Vince McMahon's vision for WWE, Brian Cage certainly fits that mold.
And he would have debuted as David Hasselhoff.
And his finish would have been a body slam. Don't do anything else. But either way, I think delighted that Brian Cage has some stability. Work-wise, and he seems happy being there as part of the embassy and doing stuff there, and if Tony was saying it's true and he wants to do more stuff with the embassy in Ring of Honor, then brilliant.
Yeah,
great.
Just saying it was all set in stone by the time the creative was started with Swerve Strickland, which I guess is a nice place to be, sort of aligned with Swerve as the embassy and the Mogul affiliates get together to take down many fools. It's a nice place to be because Swerve's one of the most captivating characters in the AEW at the moment, I think.
I'll tell you who was very captivating at the moment, Dominic Mysterio, as part of the Judgment Day. But there is concern for his teammate, Finn Balor.
Yeah, Finn took on Rey Mysterio on this week's Raw, but it didn't come without injury. It's not the one that split open his coconut on the top of his head there, Tom.
Now, the Fightful Select saying there was concern from some backstage with Finn Balor working against Rey Mysterio as he was said to be banged up. And yeah, as you say, not only that split of the old coconut, but numerous sources reporting that Finn Balor actually went into that Hell in a Cell match with a grade 2 calf tear. And so going into it with an injury is one thing, but then having that deep cut in your head and carrying on regardless, it's impressive by all means, but I would worry that Finn Balor doesn't do himself an injury.
I was going to say, you wonder if Finn was maybe going to be put in such a prominent position, because I think that match with Ray opened the show on Raw, didn't it, when the travel issues were a thing. Obviously, Finn was one of the people who made it to the arena. Was it a case of, oh God, we've got nobody, Finn, get in there now, please. We'll give you a little bit of cash for the troubles here, just in case you injure yourself a bit more. But yeah, you would hope he gets a couple of weeks off now.
Yeah, Finn and Ray had a great match on Raw. Which obviously they do. It's Finn and Ray, and a great showcase for Finn. I think he put out on Twitter, like, you know what, this week I beat a Hall of Famer, and he did. And I think that's I'm happy for him. But I just don't want him to get hurt anymore.
Yeah,
I don't just look after yourself, please. This will be some exciting news for certain wrestling fans. Which ex-WWE star is?
If I get this bit of paper to nestle inside the camera lens, this superstar will return to the company.
Oh.
Are you ready?
Okay.
It didn't land, therefore they're not coming back. And thank goodness for that, because we're speaking about Eva Marie.
Eva Marie. She was chatting with WrestleZone and said the door is always open for WWE. We're in constant talks. When I'd originally left, I was filming my first lead action movie. So that door is definitely one of those things that's always open. Definitely down to always cause some trouble and stir up some things, that's for sure.
She knows how to work the media, I think. Because there was that period, what was that thing I was referencing there when she was like, if I make this shot,
I will return to WWE. I think it was based on the thing that Madonna did.
Was it?
I think Madonna did something where she was like, if I land this, I'll reveal something about myself. I'll get back with Guy David. I don't know, but there was that. So I think it was based on that. But it was, again, like you say, playing the crowd, playing the media up quite nicely. My favourite Eva Marie moment, and I think it's one that I worry is going to get lost in the annals of time. NXT main event. It was Bayley defending the NXT Women's title against Eva Marie, and the whole crowd were convinced that Eva Marie was a WWE guy, a Vince McMahon girl, and she was going to win the belt that night, and they hated it. Every near fall was just spicy.
That is the one thing. The one thing she brings is that dread of, like, the Jeff Jarrett dread, I'd call it.
The Jeff Jarrett dread.
Jeff Jarrett coming close to winning an AEW title in 2023 is the same as any time Eva Marie's come close to winning a match. Professional wrestling career, I would argue. But when she eliminated Asuka from the Battle Royal and ended Asuka's streak before Charlotte Flair did, that's when Eva Marie was on fire. Oh. Never forget when she did that. Eliminated Asuka from a Battle Royal before Asuka went to the main roster and took on Charlotte Flair.
I think we should use our platform to, if should Eva Marie come back, try and get over her new nickname here at Cultaholic, which is Dread Jarrett. Feel free to take Dread Jarrett signs to Raw and SmackDown. It certainly writes itself. You on Twitch today?
3 p.m. Twitch.tv/Cultaholic for some more FIFA-licious. That's where we play FIFA 23 and kick some soccer balls into the soccer goals. We're doing pitches, aren't we, Tom?
We are indeed. 9 pitches for Roman Reigns' WWE Universal title defeat. How are we taking the belt from Roman Reigns? You'll find out later. And how about this? A double whammy on Twitch, because Owen Mawson's on Twitch tonight as well, doing the 2K23 showcase, well, Wadaboo, Bababoo of John Cena. He'll be playing that over the next couple of days, so you can catch Owen doing the legacy of John Cena and no doubt having some fun playing as Prototype. He's a really good character to play as in the game.
As the character model that was based on Owen Mawson's actual physique,
That's exactly what he looks like. It's twitch.tv/Cultaholic for a double helping of Twitch-based goodness today. And for the latest wrestling news throughout the day, you can check out cultaholic.com. Stay safe. Love you. Bye.